This week is going to be above the bridge up in the Keweenaw Peninsula, actually. We're going to show you a bear hunt from up there, some unbelievable footage from above the bridge.
Lloyd. Dan is a jack of all trades and runs Northwoods Guide Services. If you're in need of anything outdoors, Dan's the man. From bait and tackle to guide services and even taxidermy, Northwoods is the place to be. This time of the year they are hard at work running bear baits. Now if you think this job is easy, think again. It starts early in the morning filling bait buckets.
It's granola bars. We get them shipped from Grand Rapids. Comes out of a place down just south of Grand Rapids. It's like a trail mix granola bar. What I look for is either a water source, a food source, or a heavy cover source. And the reason we're in here is because you got really all three. You got heavy cover, you got water, and you got plenty of food source.
We're scouting new areas each year to see where the bears will be towards the end of the summer. This is all in preparation for the hunters who typically arrive a day or two before the season. This year the guys are helping 11 hunters experience Michigan bear hunting, some for the first time. Mark Anderson and Kurt McCarrick had driven up from the Lansing area to hunt with Dan. I'd be sitting with Kurt tonight, and he told me they'd both be using handguns. As a fellow revolver fan, I had to check out what he'd be using.
This is a Smith & Wesson 460 Magnum. It's the fastest muzzle velocity revolver in production right now. Muzzle velocity with a 200 grain Hornady is about 2,300 feet per second muzzle velocity. I'm going to be shooting something a little slower today. I'm shooting 395 grain core bonds, hard cast, and they're probably about 1,800 feet per second muzzle velocity. They carry a lot more energy though. So
Why did you decide to go with a handgun?
I've been shooting handguns since it was legal in the southern part of Michigan, like 1986. To me, it's more of a challenge than using a shotgun or a rifle. Nothing against shotguns or rifle. I own them all, but handgun seems to be more of a challenge, and it's always been a dream of mine to be able to go bear hunting with a handgun, and so I'll be sitting in a ground blind with a handgun, and this is my gun of choice.
Kurt got set up in the ground blind. It looked like the perfect setup. The blind was cut into a hill and brushed in with thick cedars. The bait was right next to a large cedar swamp and the wind was perfect. But by the end of the evening we had seen a wolf that was a little camera shy and a coon who was filling up on the granola bars. Kurt would have to wait to try out his handgun on a bear. But as luck would have it, a couple days after I left, Kurt was able to videotape himself shooting this nice black bear with a white blaze on its chest. A rarity here in Michigan. Kurt made a good shot with his revolver. The guys got some good pictures of Kurt's first bear and were excited to share the news back home. Scott Stafford was among the lucky hunters on the first night. This bear weighed in at over 225 pounds once stressed out. Once we got back to the trailhead, we found how unlucky I had been with the camera. We were the only ones that didn't see a bear, and 9 out of 11 hunters had filled their tags. Andrew of Galesburg was one of the lucky hunters with this 250-pounder.
Well, first bear came by. It was about 8 feet behind us, and then it came up to about 5-6 feet behind me. And the guy I was with, Mike, I think his name is, he said, "Look," he said, "the bear." He's like, "Don't move." So I just turned my head and I see this big blob sitting right there. And then we scared off and it ran down to the pile. And it was there for 25-30 minutes, and just ran off. And an hour later, here comes this big guy. He's all the guy sees is his head. He's like, "Shoot it!" So he gets up there, he gets straight, and just fired right after that. He took off and down the hill.
What do you think about your first bear hunt?
Pretty fun.
Pretty exciting?
Yeah.
You get him?
Hard to tell. You said shoot, so I said I was all right.
Yeah.
I got it on there and fired.
With 9 bears down, Dan, Seth, and their helpers had a lot of work ahead of them. They worked late into the night skinning and butchering bears. With only 2 hunters left, Dan put me with Justin Taylor on another bait to give me a little change of scenery. He said there was multiple bears hitting this bait. Little did I know the luck of the camera would strike again, this time in a very different way.
Right now, it's the second night. I have to be back to work tomorrow, so I don't have a lot of time. Gotta get the bear tonight, so hopefully we'll find it.
We were ready as the sound of thunder was moving closer. Soon we were in a downpour, but we didn't mind. There's still no place I'd rather be than sitting in a cedar swamp in a remote corner of the UP. Well, after seeing 7 different bears, Justin couldn't find one that was of any size and decided to go home empty-handed. All in all, it was a great couple of days of hunting.